Toyota, Nissan, Mazda, and many others. If you worked on these Japanese cars from the late 1980s to the early 2000s, you've definitely seen these. This connector family has a crazy name, Econoseal J Mark II. Despite being 40 years old, it's still one of my favorite OEM sealed connectors. Originally designed by AMP, then bought by Tyco, that turned into TE Connectivity, these have been around the block. The amount of positions varies greatly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 12, and 16. Now I know it just said 16, but I didn't show you 16. Here's a 3D printed 16 position connector. It looks exactly the same as this, although functional. Something to note too, a lot of Denso fuel injection parts actually use these connectors. It's very common to see the one position connector on like oxygen sensors. These connectors are used on light assemblies. Wiring harness connects between the engine and the chassis. They show up in all sorts of places. Even components themselves. Because some of the stuff that I ordered didn't come in time to make the video, but I wanted to go ahead and make the video, I went ahead and 3D printed one of the mounts for these connector types. Now this one's just printed in PLA, so it's practically useless, but they look exactly like this. I was super curious about whether or not it could survive being installed. It was at this point I was just as surprised as you probably were just now that actually worked. Now of course it couldn't hold up to the temperatures associated with engine bays, but pretty interesting nonetheless. Moving on, we find out the terminals are open barrel and they have wire seals. These are good for about 7 to 10 amps. That's it. Don't push your luck here. And the best wire gauges to use with these is 22 to 16. These terminals are retained by these small areas. And of course the conductor goes here and the wire seal goes here. Next time you're at a party and you don't know what to talk about, let them know that the Mark II lands directly between a DTM and DT Deutsche connector. Let's check out some crimping here. So if you strip the wire too long, you can always use some flush cuts and just nip a bit off. Not a big deal. But what we're here for is to see how it sits in the terminal. And that's about right there. Perhaps you could add a little more copper past the copper retention tangs. But because that area just ahead of the copper is where the terminal is retained in the housing, you can't get too far into it. It looks like we ended up a little bit short on copper right there. Let's give it another shot. Much better this time. Little bit of copper showing, but we're not infringing on that space allocated for the retention tang. And here are the retention tangs. And these slots are for the TPA, which you'll see in a moment. This ensures that once the terminals are in, they can't be removed. Fun fact about the Mark IIs is if all the terminals are not in position correctly, you cannot install the TPA. This is on purpose. This is the correct direction to install the terminals. This is what they should look like when installed correctly. Sometimes filming these in macro leads to weird outcomes, like me breaking this TPA for no reason. Okay then. Here's how it's supposed to actually be installed. And that's a completely assembled female connector housing. And this is what the seals look like from the backside when everything's together. Let's get a male side put together. The terminal goes in this orientation. Notice that pin on the right is a little wonky. It's going to turn out just fine. And like I said earlier, these seem to be made for human hands to actually be able to unplug. Let's see how to depin these. On these female ones, first you're just going to pop the TPA out, just like that. On the male side, you may think, I can just do the same thing, but it's not going to work very well. What you're going to need is a hook. Now the shape doesn't matter too much, but it does need to be fairly strong. And it comes out quite violent. With the TPA out of the way, depinning is pretty easy. You just need to lift the retention tang and back the terminal out. Now this is much harder to film, but in reality when you're not filming it, this is actually quite easy. Here's a close-up of the retention tang being moved out of the way with a pick. It's not hard to do, but it is hard to film when everything's black. Hopefully now you have a better understanding how the Econoseal J Mark II works. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.